Hello everyone. So we will be starting with the webinar now. So firstly, I'd like to thank you all for taking time and joining our webinar on AI APIs. So quickly introducing the speakers. So myself, Ketki, I am the marketing manager at Arya.ai. And along with me, I have Mansi, who's the senior research scientist at Arya.ai. So moving on. So for today's webinar, we will be focusing on the Bank Statement Analyzer API. Which ideally converts. So the API is focused on converting raw banking data from bank statements into a comprehensive analytical report. So just quickly going through the topics that we'll be covering for today's webinar. We will be giving quick introduction about Arya.ai. We will be introducing the details on Arya's API platform. We will take a deep dive into the Bank Statement Analyzer API, which is our core focus for today. How do you go about its implementation? And towards the end, we will be answering any questions that you may have. Now, just a quick introduction about the company. Now, many companies today face several challenges with adoption and implementation of deep learning. Now, these challenges are especially come along when it comes to implementing deep learning for core functions. Now, these challenges can be associated with various things, such as the expertise in deep learning. It could be along with the resources and the time that the company can dedicate. So to overcome these hurdles, our company Arya offers in-house stack, which is built from the ground up, which is ideal end-to-end platform for financial institutions. Now, the platform provides the enterprises the flexibility to onboard and then pick and choose the modules that is best suited to your needs. So the modules can also be customized for any specific needs or tasks that you may require. Now, our journey had started in the year 2013. What set us apart is our expertise in working with deep learning. We are one of the very few companies which work with deep learning, especially in the financial services industry. It is because of this expertise that within just a span of 8.5 years, we have worked with some of the leading banks and insurers across India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and we are slowly and steadily expanding in the South Africa and the US regions as well. To date, our total transactional value processed on the platform is around $35 billion year on year. Now, the slide that you see in front of you, this is ideally presenting our solutions in 3 different divisions. As mentioned earlier, we offer a low to no code AI platform for the BFSI industry. Now, on the platform, we have 3 different sections. One is the AI APIs. We will be talking about this in depth shortly. The next that you can see are the expert AI modules. Now, these are the core functional AI modules, which learn and relearn autonomously and continuously adapt to the changes that are being made. So, for example, one such platform that we offer within this is the autonomous underwriting module, which is a DL system to underwrite applications in real time. The same way, we have a fraud and risk monitoring platform, which tracks frauds and any suspicious transactions. Along with that, within the tools and frameworks, we are offering Arya.ai, which is an ML observability platform, which helps in making AI deployments explainable, transparent, and traceable. Now, moving on to the main top focus of today, that is the AI APIs. Now, here I would just like to hand it over to Mansi, who will be taking you explaining in-depth details and will take you over the AI APIs platforms. Mansi, over to you.
Thank you, Katie, for that introduction. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to the webinar. I would be taking you through the basic working of the platform, Arya APIs, and how specifically the Bank Statement Analyzer API works with a specific sample statement as well. So to start with, for those of you who may not be well aware of APIs are application programming interfaces, which basically help integrate these functionalities into your existing system without having to modify anything hugely in your systems. So it has been the go-to for implementing any useful resources which can administer and boost your capabilities, as well as give your ease of usage for any developers as well. So AI APIs, the whole idea behind creating this platform was to provide readily available APIs from Arya.ai, which are useful for many industries. We started off as APIs as specifically for banking and finance industries, as well as insurance industry. And moving on, we've realized that all of these APIs have a more generic usage across various industries. And that is where we developed this public platform where anyone can use these APIs directly into their systems, and all of the models are ready to use in production and pre-trained. Moving on, the Bank Statement Analyzer API is one specific such API, which helps mainly with the lending process in banks or NBFCs and financial companies. What it basically does is, in a generic lending underwriting process, we have experts who are analyzing bank statements to assess the financial health of the particular person who requires the credit, and so on, which is where our Bank Statement Analyzer API comes into picture. We not only extract all the information from the digital bank statement which is provided, we also generate a comprehensive analysis report which will help identify areas of interest and showcase trends and abnormalities, if any, in these statements, which will further help assess the profile of the person for the lending process. To moving on, I will just take you through the platform. So here you can visit this platform yourself at api.arya.ai and create your own account as well. All of these APIs are ready to use and can be tried by anyone with their own samples as well once you create an account. Today, what we will be specifically seeing is the Bank Statement Analyzer API for Singapore to start with, and then we can go ahead and check out all the other APIs if needed. So the Bank Statement Analyzer API currently has 6 different versions for 6 different geographies, which is basically on the Singapore, Philippines, South Africa, India, Mauritius, as well as Egypt. To start with, what we basically do is we basically create a API to generally create a report on the analysis which is generated by reading the transactions which are provided in the API. For example, we can first have a look at the type of statement which is being uploaded. So I'll just upload a sample statement, and while this is being processed, I will just quickly show you the sample which I've also uploaded. This is a Singapore DBS bank account statement with the personal identity redacted as well. And this is a general statement for 3 to 4 months. And this is what is uploaded on the platform right now and is being processed. So here, what happens is once this PDF is uploaded, we basically do the whole digitization and we do the analysis. For the report which is generated, there are 3 types of reports which are possible as an outcome. One is an Excel report, which is a Microsoft Excel file, which will be generated right now once the report is generated. Another option is to generate a PDF report, which has almost the same information, but just the different format as per your requirement. And thirdly, we can also give a JSON response, which is more helpful for direct integration into your systems. So now this Excel that is downloaded, we'll just view that Excel. I hope my screen is still visible. Yeah, I'll just share the Excel file as well. Give me a moment. Yeah, so yes. So this is the Excel file which is generated right now in the report which was generated. So basically, it gives all the account summary information in the first place with the date and time of creation. And we have the opening balance, closing balance, and the average balance, and overall number of credit and debit transactions, and overall debit and credit amounts as well, and what is the debit to credit ratio, as well as what are the recurring debits and credits as well. So we'll go through each of these in detail to understand what is the output which is generated. Firstly, this is the whole transaction overview as it is, with all the date, particulars, amount, the category and type of transactions, and the balance. So this category and type of transactions is what is understood and created by us, whether it was a check transfer or a fast transaction or a remittance transfer, or it was an outward business transaction as well. We also classified types such as rent and loan, as well as creating other types of transactions as well. So we also mark salary transactions as shown over here. So since this is a corporate statement, the salary is basically an outward going transaction with a debit and so on. So these are the particulars, and based on these particulars, we decide the category and type of transaction which is being generated here. This is the overall view of all the transactions in the PDF statement in the Excel format. Nextly, we have the all-time top 10 transactions. So we have the top 5 debit and top 5 credit transactions here, which are occurring on a particular day throughout the statement period. So this is approximately a 3 to 4 month statement period from Jan to March. The transaction summary is on a month-on-month based summary, where for each month we give you the whole analysis on what are the total number of debit and credit transactions for the particular month, the maximum debit amount and credit amount, and the debit to credit ratio, as well as whether there's a positivity in that month, which means that the overall credit transactions for that month are higher than the debit transactions in that month, and so on. So this is the whole idea for the overview summary on the transactions. Similarly, we have a balance trend which is also generated on a month-on-month basis. What was the opening and closing balance for that particular month, the highest and lowest, and the average balance as well, and the percentage change during that month. So in that case, what is the difference between the closing and the opening balance as a percentage change? So here there's a huge increase in the percentage change, whereas in the next month there is a decline by 60%. And again, there is an increase by 12%. And overall, during the whole statement period, there has been an overall increment by 11% in the balance of the account. Next, we also have the top 5 transactions on a monthly basis. So again, top 5 credit and debit transactions, which are occurring on a monthly basis along with their particulars, which helps analyze the major sources of inflow and outflow being there. I believe my I'll just reshare my screen. I think I'll, yeah.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I would request all the participants as we go along. If you have any questions, you can mention those questions in the Q&A section.
Yes. Thank you, Ketki. Yeah. So continuing from where we had stopped, this is the top 5 monthly debit and credit transactions which are occurring in a particular month and the corresponding amounts for an analysis on which are the top sources of inflows and outflows for each particular month. Specifically and more interesting would be the inflows and outflow section here, where we have the categories of transactions grouped together based on their similarity, and inflows is basically all the credit transactions here, which are grouped according to the whole similarity of their particulars. So it is basically also grouped based on the type of category. So this is the whole group of check transfer transactions as well. Apart from that, we have the transactions which are a fast transfer or remittance transfer or a salary transactions and so on. We also have business transactions and all the transactions which are similar here. So here you can see that there's invoice payment for a particular company, which was all grouped together in the inflows as well, which is occurring similarity. In the outflows, similarly, we have the transactions which are basically all the debit transactions which are occurring, and they can include ATM withdrawal transactions, again, check transfer transactions, fast transfer, remittance transfer, as well as all the automatic transactions, and again, the salary transactions as well, which are grouped together as on basis of when they were occurring and how similar they were. We also have outward telegraphic transfer transactions, which are all grouped together. Apart from that, we have the business transactions and again the loan. So outflows loan also shows the basic monthly EMIs being paid for any particular loan which is existing for that particular customer, and what are the dates on which the loan was being processed and so on, or the EMI is being processed. We also have the rent transactions here which are being utilized, and card transactions as well, and again a grouping based on the similarity of a particular vendor which is being associated with the particular. So here again we have the point of sale transactions, we have the loan transactions, clearing loans, and here we have some PayPal transactions as well, and so on. So this is the whole overview of the outflows. Here we can see that a particular vendor for whom the transaction is repeating is all grouped together across all the months, and a particular amount which is being transferred to them every time. So this is also where we can group in based on particular vendors which are there, as well as so that covers the outflow of transactions. Lastly, we have the recurring credits, which are none in this case because there hasn't been any credits which are recurring in pattern. But if we see recurring debits here, these are basically a smaller subset of the outflows and inflow transactions. Since it's debits, it's the outflow transactions, wherein the particular transaction is not only similar in nature, but is also occurring in a regular period of time, which is, say, probably in the mid of the month as seen here, or in the start of week 2 as seen here. So these are the type of transactions which are recurring in nature, and hence they would be highlighted here as well. So this is the whole of the Excel report to start with. We have the account summary, the transactions, the inflow outflows, as well as the recurring debits and credits. So this is the overview of the Excel report. Now the same report, I would also like to share the PDF report which is generated. For that, we'll just yeah, so I have the sample PDF statement with me, which I will just create a sample statement on the same. What we can do is basically run one particular code. I'll just do that, which will specify that I need the PDF type as report. I'll just show you quickly. So here we are just specifying that we need the report type of PDF, and we are requesting the bank statement endpoint as per the API documentation, which I will just go through. And based on that, we can just run this request, and we'll pass the DBS statement as we've seen earlier, which will then be generate a PDF report. So I'll just show you the documentation. In the documentation, like you can see here, we have the URL for the API which needs to be taken and your particular token, security token. Based on here, what I was mentioning was the report type, which needs to be specified as PDF for generating a PDF format. And based on that, we can generate the PDF report as well. And these are all the reference for all the values which are being passed for the request which we want to do. While the PDF report is being generated, we can also have a quick round of, I think there are a few questions. So let me just Yes, so we have a question here where they have asked if what are the types of input that can be uploaded for the API and whether we support an image upload. So to answer that question, yes, we have basically focused currently on a PDF version to be uploaded so that it has all the transactions in place for that particular statement period. We do support image upload, but that would again require that the image quality be very good quality, since we are relying on the image to be read in a clarified manner, since even a missing one transaction would create an error in balancing the transactions across the statement period. Hence, we do stress on having a PDF being uploaded. Having said that, we do support uploading of scanned PDF statements as well, and also the e-statements which are being generated. Another question which we have is, what are the languages supported other than English language? To answer that question, currently we do have support for English language as well. We are also in process of supporting different languages, which basically requires an additional translation before we can create a report. And I hope that answers the question, and you would be, I'll just check if the PDF report is generated. Yes. So I hope you can see the PDF report here. Just a minute. I'll just minimize the other window. Okay, I'll just share my screen so that the PDF is visible? Yes, so this is the PDF report which was generated for the same statement, which has the similar information in the PDF format, if that is something that you would prefer for your analysis, which has the personal information and the account summary with the opening and closing balance and everything similar. The highest top three debits and credit transactions over the statement period as well. This is the graph on the trend analysis on the balance across the statement period. This graph shows the basically highs and lows of how the balance was fluctuating throughout the balance statement. And we have, along with it, we have the highest and lowest balance as well as the average balance and the change per month, which is approximately 17%. Along with it, nextly, we have the overview of the transactions. So here we have the monthly average balance and the debit and credit transactions over time, which on a month-on-month basis, what is the debit and credit transaction and which one is higher for a particular month. So here again, we have the highest monthly average balance in Feb and the lowest in March. Along with it, we have the transactions categorized by size as well as mode of payment. So here we have small, medium, and large transactions based on the range, which is less than $2,000 or greater than $10,000, and medium is $2,000 to $10,000. So based on that, what is the distribution of the transactions in the particular statement? We also have by mode of payment, what is the check transfer and fast transfer ATM transactions as well, and so on. Along with it, nextly, we have the inflows and outflows, which are same as what we had seen in the Excel, grouped based on the similarity of the transactions and the particulars. If there's a particular vendor which is being repeated, these would be showcased here as well. So this is the whole inflows and outflows, which are similar to what we have seen in the Excel, the loan transactions, the rent transactions. And moving on, for the next set of input, we have the, I'll just scroll a bit faster. Yes, the next we have the top 5 monthly debits and credits, where we have a heat map based color coding, which will show what are the ranges in which the transactions are happening for a particular month, and if those transactions are repeated across a month or not. So this basically shows what is the basic highest source of inflow and outflow during a particular month. And lastly, like we have the recurring debits and the recurring credits, which will basically be a smaller subsection of the inflow and outflow, which are repeating on a regular periodic basis as well. So this is the PDF report which we have. Moving on to the platform, I think this is the Singapore Bank Statement Analyzer. Similarly, we also have the Bank Statement Analyzer for different regions, which we have mentioned, and we can basically, so yeah, I'll just go to the global region. Yes, so here we have the Bank Statement Analyzer, like we mentioned, for India, Egypt, Singapore, South Africa, Mauritius, as well as Philippines. And this is the overview on the APIs. Let me just see if we have any further questions. Yes, so I request all the participants, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop in your questions and we will answer them. And moving on, we have the and just switch back to the presentation. Yes. So now that we have seen the Bank Statement Analyzer API, to summarize what we have seen so far, we are basically giving an API-based deployment of any given API, including the Bank Statement API, which acts as a easy to implement and ready to use API for deploying in any of your existing operations and systems. Along with it, the pricing is very simple and it is an API transaction-based pricing, which has a very low range. For Bank Statement Analyzer, the pricing is at $1 per API transaction. And based on this, we have one question here as well. Yes, so we have one question here. Does the Bank Statement Analyzer support banks of other countries? So yes, we do have the capabilities of supporting any bank statement given. So we are trying to incorporate as many banks as we can. The main holdback being that there is a huge amount of varying formats which are generated from time to time for each bank statement. Having said that, we are definitely in the process of incorporating additional countries as well. And yeah, I hope that answers the question. And yes, we have another question. Can the APIs be customized? Most of our APIs are as generic as they can be. However, if necessary, we are definitely open to customization. We understand and we already have customized the Bank Statement Analyzer API for a variety of our customers currently as well, where they have their own metrics and analysis that they would like to be incorporated whenever we are generating the report, and those can definitely be incorporated as well. So yes, to answer that question. Next question that we have is how do you identify the authenticity of the document? Yes, that is a very good question. Thank you for that question here. We have basically analysis on the metadata of the report of the statement being provided as well, where we try to analyze and ascertain that whether the PDF was modified in any way or tampered in any way before being provided and after it was generated. However, as obviously that is only for the e-statement PDFs which are being generated online and would not be applicable for any scanned documents as well. Apart from that, we also have a question, a follow-up question on what will be the effort to enable a new bank statement API. So what we have is we would require samples, which probably 2 to 3 samples of a particular bank statement format. And once we have that, within a couple of days, we are able to customize or incorporate that API to in that statement. It can be incorporated into the API within a couple of days. I hope that answers the question. Another question is, do we need dedicated servers to deploy the APIs? No. So these So these APIs are already deployed on Arya Cloud, and you as a consumer just need to integrate the API. All of the development and maintenance hassle has been provided by us in support with whatever is being uh, updated from time to time. So there is no need for you as a customer to dedicate servers to deploy these particular APIs. There is one more question to follow up on. Where is the cloud located, and who is the cloud provider? So we work with a couple of cloud providers, Google, Azure, and AWS as well. And we usually restrict the location of the cloud basis the location of the API or region for which we are creating that API. For instance, all the Indian-based APIs are deployed in the Indian locations, and abroad APIs would be deployed in the abroad locations. Another question that we have is, what about the data storage and security? Thank you for that question. We are having worked with banks and financial institutions are very much aware of all the privacy and privacy guidelines, as well as what are the financial information being at stake. We strictly abide by those guidelines, and we do not store any information which is provided via the API. As you would have seen, for generating two reports, we had to provide the report bank statement repeatedly for giving the particular output. And having said that, we do not store any particular bank statement which is provided, or any other input which is provided on the API. We barely just store the metadata, whether the particular API call was a success or a failure, and the processing time. Another question that we have is, which is a follow-up on the location of the cloud, which means that yes, if the BSA API or the Bank Statement Analyzer API is specific to the Philippines region, it will be deployed in the cloud inside the Philippines location as well. Yes, so that is the answer for that as well. Another question that we have is there any notification for items failed to identify in the bank statement? Yes, definitely. If there are transactions which are not being processed correctly, or if we were not able to process those transactions as expected, we will definitely specify those in a separate section of the report, which will show the errors, if any, which were generated for a particular transactions. So yeah, we still have some time if any of you guys have any questions. Moreover, we would be definitely happy to have a quick discussion or on a one-on-one discussion whenever you have any questions, or when you have tried the API, and if you still have any questions, we would be happy to discuss that as well. There is one more question on the pricing. Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, the pricing is a pure transaction-based pricing, where we charge for the bank statement analyzer, we charge $1 for the particular bank statement, for each bank statement that is uploaded and processed. And that is for a limit of up to 15 pages of the bank statement. Additionally, post the 15 pages, there would be an additional cost of 20 cents per per page. So that is on the pricing. Uh, Another question is, do we have a POC or a sandbox environment? Yeah, so our platform, api.arya.ai, is an open platform where you can create your own account with your corporate or work email address, and you would get free credits which you can try and do your POC with and test out the APIs. And if necessary, we can also provide additional free credits as well. Having said that, for all the participants who have joined us here today on the workshop, post the workshop, we will be sharing the recording of this particular webinar along with a coupon code which you can utilize on the platform once you've created your account to get more free credits to try out the API. I hope that answers the question. Also, we would definitely request all of you who have joined the webinar today and were uh, uh, registered did not register until the last minute. We would request you to please share your emails with us so that we can reach out to you with the communications as well. You can definitely drop in the emails here in the chat section to the host, or you can definitely send us an email at support@arya.ai.
Thank you, Mansi. We are almost towards the end of this webinar. For the other participants, if you have any further questions, I would request you to post them in the Q&A section. Apart from that, like Mansi mentioned, we will be sharing a recording of this session and a coupon code for additional free API calls on your email IDs that you registered with us. So for those of you who have already registered, we have your email IDs. For those who joined directly using the webinar link, we request you to share your email IDs. You can do that in the Q&A section. We will take a note of those email IDs and share all the necessary materials with you. So like Mansi mentioned, you can go on the API platform, register through your corporate email IDs. Now, if you're registering through your corporate email IDs, you automatically get 500 free API calls. In addition to that, if you're using the coupon code, you will get additional free API calls. So that would be 500 plus the free calls that we share through the coupon code. So like we said, there are free trials available for you. You can yourself go and try out all the APIs. There are a plethora of APIs that we're offering for different functions. So you can definitely go ahead and try those APIs. If you need one-on-one sessions, you can directly write out a mail to us, or you can book the demo slots to the API platform directly. So we'll wait for a minute and just see if there are any other questions that any of the participants may have. Okay, I guess there are no more questions. So in the chat, if you can see, Mansi has shared the links for the API platform and book a demo link. So you can directly use these links to access the APIs or have schedule a slot with us for a one-on-one discussion where we can give you further details that you would be requiring. So that's it from today's workshop. We hope to see all of you on the trying out all the APIs on the platform. If you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to us anytime. Once again, thank you for attending this webinar. We hope to see you on the platforms. Thank you so much.